This is the unbelievable moment the French Navy launched a high-stakes operation in the Mediterranean Sea, storming a giant Russian oil tanker suspected of running sanctions for Moscow's war machine. The vessel, nicknamed the Grinch, is a massive 800-foot oil supertanker, believed to be part of Russia's so-called shadow fleet, a covert network of tankers used to sneak oil out despite international sanctions. In a stunning display of precision, French Marine Commandos descended onto the tanker's deck from NH90 Caïman helicopters, fully armed and ready to take control. Meanwhile, the tiny HMS Dagger, one of the smallest boats in the Royal Navy, stalked the huge tanker through the Strait of Gibraltar, tracking its movements before the assault. The Grinch was sailing from the Russian Arctic port of Murmansk, loaded with oil and flying under a Comoros flag, widely believed to be a false flag meant to disguise the ship's true identity. France says the ship is part of a sanctions-busting operation that helps finance Russia's war on Ukraine, and they were determined to stop it. French President Emmanuel Macron confirmed the mission was legal, carried out under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, and backed by allies, including the United Kingdom, which provided tracking support. UK Defense Secretary John Healey emphasized that targeting these shadow vessels is key to choking off funds that fuel Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky personally thanked France, saying stopping tankers near European waters is exactly what's needed.
So Russian oil must be stopped and confiscated and sold for Europe's benefit. Why not? If Putin has no money, there is no war for Europe. If Europe has money, then it can protect its people. Right now, those tankers are making money for Putin, and that means Russia continues to push its sick agenda.
After the dramatic boarding, the Grinch was diverted toward Marseille-Fosse in southern France for a full investigation by prosecutors, a major escalation in the crackdown on the shadow fleet. This comes just weeks after Allied forces, including the US and UK, seized other Russian tankers suspected of sanctions violations.
Just hours after a fiery speech by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Europe took one of its boldest actions yet against Russia's war economy.
Let's be honest. Europe must do more so its sanctions block enemies as effectively as American sanctions.
In the open waters of the Mediterranean, a Russian oil tanker was stopped, boarded, and seized. Here's what happened and why it matters. On January 22, 2026, the French Navy, backed by intelligence from the United Kingdom and other allies, intercepted an oil tanker suspected of being part of Russia's so-called shadow fleet. This operation took place in the Alboran Sea between southern Spain and northern Morocco, on the high seas and under international maritime law. French President Emmanuel Macron confirmed the seizure himself, saying the move was about one thing: cutting off the money that fuels Russia's war in Ukraine. This is not just another ship. This is the first time the West has seized a shadow fleet tanker loaded with Russian Arctic crude oil. The vessel, called Grinch, is a 22-year-old tanker, nearly 250 meters long, capable of carrying around 600,000 barrels of oil. It was loaded in Murmansk in Russia's Arctic region just days earlier. It sailed down the Norwegian coast, passed through the Strait of Gibraltar, and was intercepted almost immediately after entering the Mediterranean. French commandos used helicopters and navy boats. Masked soldiers boarded the ship. The tanker was then diverted for inspection as a judicial investigation was launched. Why this ship matters. Although it flew the flag of Comoros, a common flag of convenience, investigators believe this was a false flag operation. The ship shares identification numbers with another tanker already sanctioned by the US, EU, and UK. This is classic shadow fleet behavior: opaque ownership, poor insurance, and high-risk operations designed to evade sanctions. The big picture? Russia's shadow fleet is believed to include over 1,000 tankers, generating around $100 billion a year, money that directly funds the war. Now, here's the timing that caught global attention. On the very same day, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Volodymyr Zelensky blasted Europe for moving too slowly. He accused leaders of being in what he called Greenland mode, waiting for the US to lead instead of acting. He demanded more sanctions, more seizures, and the complete dismantling of the shadow fleet. Hours later, France acted. Zelensky publicly thanked Macron, calling it exactly the kind of resolve Europe needs. What comes next? Russia has called similar actions piracy before, and retaliation is possible. Diplomatic pressure, economic countermeasures, or even increased naval posturing. But experts are clear, this is not a step towards World War III. It is a legal, targeted enforcement of sanctions, part of a long, ongoing economic war. What this seizure signals is a possible shift. Europe may no longer just talk about sanctions. It may start enforcing them, ship by ship. And for Moscow, that could change everything.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.